Good morning, guys. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm here a little further down in Psalm number 5, verse 7. Beautiful verse. It says, "Because of your unfailing love, I can enter your house. I will worship at your temple with deepest awe. Lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. Make your way plain for me to follow." This morning, I just want to reflect on God's love. The psalmist here was saying, because of your unfailing love, I can enter your house. And we know this was written by David, and we know that in his life there was many ups and downs and so on. And there were times when he failed God. And there are times when we don't do the appropriate thing, we don't do the right thing, and people around us will cut us off. Those who claim they love you, the minute you go too far, that's it, But God, in his mercy and his unfailing love, it's a love that doesn't fail. Whether we make mistakes, whether we stumble, whether we fall, God's love is there. Is in Corinthians, Paul asks the question, what can separate us from this love? Because it's a love that in spite of, we can still feel his love. And so because he understood that God's love is just simply unfailing, he says, I will worship at your temple with deepest awe. Just thinking about, sometimes I stop and I think about the love of God and just how amazing it is. Indeed, it leaves you with a sense of awe, like, wow, I love my children, I love my mother and my siblings, and, but yeah, there are times when they if they get on your nerves, you're like, and for a moment there, it's a bit bumpy in terms of that love, but never like that with God, never like that with God. And so he says, and one of the reasons why he was in awe of this love, he goes on and he says, lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. God's love is an action word. His love is evident in what he does for us. Over and over and over, we see it. And so he says, lead me in the right path, because he's confident that God's love is unfailing, that God's love for him just is. He says, you know what? I'm going to trust God to lead me in the right path, or my enemies will conquer me. Understanding that this is the creator and sustainer and the one who orchestrates history and time and everything, and that's the one who loves you, then obviously he can lead you on the right path. Because if you're not being led by God, we know our enemies can conquer us. But God's love lead us this way and not that way. There's just so many times, so many testimonies of God where the love of God just directed me to one side, and when you look over on the other side, it's like, thank you, Jesus. Times when people had traps and all sorts of things set in my path, and God just redirected it in his love. His divine guidance just totally changed the outcome of the situation. And so I want to encourage you that he can do that for you today. Whatever it is the enemy may have planned for you, just trust in God's unfailing love to lead you in the right path, so that the enemies won't conquer you. He says, just make my way plain for me to follow. That's my prayer for myself today, that God would make my path plain so that it's easy for me to follow. But that comes when we take time to spend in his word, looking and waiting, as I said yesterday, expectantly for him to guide us. All right? So that's what I want to share today. Have a terrific Tuesday, and remember, we can rely and trust in his unfailing love to guide us. Be blessed.